Okay, we just survived a whirlwind of a week, didn't we? We had the election a couple days ago. We know the outcome of that. We just had a Fed rate cut too, just yesterday, coming down another 0.25 basis points, totaling a cut of 0.75 basis points, the first of its kind in over 4 years. So you combine these two events now, where does that leave the real estate market locally and nationally moving forward as we progress through and towards the end of 2024, getting ready for 2025? Well, today's video is going to be quite interesting. We're going to explore the current local real estate market and give you guys an update of Bend and surrounding Central Oregon. Where's the data and where could we maybe speculate a little as to where things might be going here in the next 6 to 12 months and beyond. If this video sounds like it's for you, stick around. We're getting after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel or it's your 50th, it doesn't matter to me. And you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in Bend and surrounding sunny. Yes, it's sunny and 64 degrees in November, Central Oregon. Then subscribe to the channel, tap that notification bell below so you can be the first to know about the current market happenings here in Bend and surrounding Central Oregon. My name's Ryan. I'm a licensed broker with eXp Realty here in the state of Oregon. And Zach and I, my partner in crime, we get calls and texts every day from people just like you looking for help on making their smooth move to Bend or somewhere else here in Central Oregon. So whether you're looking to make a move or some sort of transactional activity in the next 9 days or 90 or beyond, doesn't matter to us. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, set up a Zoom. We would love to meet with you guys face to face through the computer if you guys are somewhere else. If you're local, let's go somewhere and get a coffee and talk about your situation. So, with all that being said, where are we at now with the current events now in the past that happened earlier this week? Because obviously they have huge implications as to what's going to happen in the future. Are you currently on the sidelines in some capacity? Are you looking and waiting to get into the market maybe at a more favorable time? Do you know what that favorable time actually means or what it looks like? We're going to talk about some of the data today, give you guys an update as to what's going on in Bend and around Central Oregon to hopefully paint a picture as to maybe where we're at right now and maybe where we're headed here in the near future. Because the real estate market is about to change, and there could be good reason to be hopping into the market sooner than later. And many people are waiting for those rates to come down, right? They want to wait for that perfect moment. Maybe, just maybe, it might be better to be more proactive about a transaction right now than as opposed to waiting for the masses to flood the market and make things a little bit more tricky, I might say. So anyway, let's hop into the computer right now. Let's do our monthly update as to what's going on with the data here around Central Oregon to get you up to speed with what is happening with all things real estate in Central Oregon. So we've got our Beacon report up here. That is our monthly data sheet. It gives us all the information that we really need to keep our finger on the pulse of the real estate market here in Central Oregon. And it's pretty interesting, right? Our new median home price is literally flirting with all-time highs in Bend. We're at $800,000. That's basically for the second time ever if we scale back to July of 2023. So it's been over a year since we actually clipped $800,000 for a median home price, and we hopped up a significant amount in just the last month alone. Now, keep in mind, this data has nothing to do with what's going on in the month of November. It's all based off what happened in October. So use that information like as you will, but next month could probably be pretty interesting as well, just based off the current events that happened this week. So let's continue on now, and this gives you a feel for where the price point is in Bend for a median-sized home, a single-family home. If we scroll down, what we're going to see is a very consistent level of transactional activity over the last 4 or 5 months. Right in the mid 140s. We had 143 transactions last month. Remember, single-family residences in Bend. So there's more activity going on in and around Bend if they aren't necessarily considered a single family unit. But this gives us a great barometer as to what type of activity is currently happening in the marketplace. If we continue to scroll down a little bit more, days on market, this is interesting. And I want to touch on this here. We went all the way up to 44 days. So what gives? We have $800,000 for a median home, priced home. And then we also have 44 days on market, the longest time and stretch that we've had for basically a year or just the beginning of last year. Well, we've been talking about inventory for a long time, right? We had our inventory at a very high level for the first time in some time. And we're going to go right into that here just to kind of paint that perspective as to what's really going on. We'll scroll through here some of these data sheets. We're currently at 3 months, but if you really look and scale back, this is the first time these last 5 or 6 months that we've actually had 3 months or more of inventory in the Bend area in well over 36 months, right here, October 21, that denotes 36 months ago. But this goes back even further. I'm talking 5, 6, 7 years. We haven't had 3, 4, 5 months of inventory in some time. So having 2 straight months of 4 months of inventory is very interesting. Homes are sitting on the market longer than what sellers are accustomed to, at least in the recent past. And so, what is that doing to them? If you're a buyer, right now might be an interesting time to be looking because there's a lot of homes that have been sitting on the market, and those sellers are thinking to themselves, this is taking a lot longer than I expected. I'm not used to this. Maybe they're a little bit more willing to take a, I don't know, price reduction or a reduced offer. Maybe they're willing to throw in some closing costs on your side as the buyer right now. All things to keep in mind before, say, something shifts in the future. Now, we don't know when that day is coming or when rates are going to come down to the point where it floods the market and sellers are happy to list their home for over their market value and they still get multiple offers. We don't know when that day is coming. We don't know if it's coming at all. But what we do know is that right now, right in front of us, inventory is higher than it's been for some time. And so homes are sitting on the market. And dare I say it, the sellers are getting a little bit of the fatigue as opposed to the buyers that had it back in 2020 and 2021. So if you're interested in buying or you're considering buying in the next 6 months or 12 months, maybe consider looking a little bit sooner because there is opportunity to be had. If you can save 20 or 25,000 on the purchase on the front end by getting it below its asking price and then avoiding the fact that maybe that same house in 6 to 12 months would be in the middle of a bidding war because more people are coming into the market after rates come down, that would make the price of that same home maybe 25,000 over what it's currently being listed at. So if you combine those two right there, that's $50,000 in savings. I'm just throwing that out there. That's something that I think about myself. It's pretty interesting right now to be someone who's on the fence considering hopping in the market because you're waiting for a perfect moment. There is no perfect moment, but there are great moments. And usually, more often than not, if you live in Bend or Central Oregon and you buy a home and you're here for the long term, you look back 5 years after your purchase and you thank yourself for making that decision in that moment. Because generally speaking, if you're holding that real estate for the long term, it's going to become a very good investment for you. Now, let's continue on here. We see our price per square foot. That's just something you can pause the video on and take a look if you want. Let's scroll down to Redmond. Let's see what's going on here in the second biggest city in Central Oregon. Now, we've got some interesting data points too. Redmond has been really consistent over the last 12 months. And even beyond that, you can see here that we came back up to $500,000 for a median priced home in Redmond. That's been kind of like the golden number here for the last, I'd say, 12 months or so. But being over $500,000 for this amount of time and maybe an occasional dip under, just under, it's not even really going down, is it's pretty interesting. Redmond is sustaining its price. There's basically the cost of a home in Redmond is starting to sneak up to Bend. There's going to be outlier months like this month. It's a $300,000 discrepancy, but generally speaking, the same home style in Bend versus Redmond, maybe the same views or same style of neighborhood, is going to be at a price point difference of about 2 to 300,000. Just so happens that the pendulum swung up towards Bend. It's now 300,000 this month. Maybe next year it'll be two, or next month it'll be 250. We'll just have to wait and see. Let's continue on here. Let's scroll down. 64 sales last month. That's a good number. A very healthy or healthy number of transactions as we continue on. Redmond has about 38 to 42,000 people. Bend's at about 106 to 110. So that gives you some perspective as to the number of transactions that we should be expecting. on a monthly basis in terms of the difference between Bend and Redmond. We'll continue on now. Days on market, 36. That's because Redmond, we'll see it here in a second, has had that same uptick in their inventory in the last 6 months. And so, what does that mean? Homes, some of them are staying on the market for longer than what that seller had first expected. They're not getting the price that they were hoping to get. They have to reduce their price. And so I remember closing on a home in the summer, and we were able to get the client a closing on a home that was $25,000 under what it appraised. Pretty interesting. And that can be something that anybody looking to hop into the market right now might be able to find. It doesn't take a whole lot to find deals that are out there right now waiting to be had because of just the state of the market. Having more inventory is good for the buyer, without a doubt. Obviously, there's more for you to choose from, but at the same time, there's more competition for those sellers. They have to be a little bit more willing to be flexible with their asking price and what they're willing to do to get the deal closed because they need to sell too. Now, here's our inventory. 3 straight months here. Then we uptick up to 4. That was back in August, and we came back down to 3. So again, if you look at the last 36 months, just look at where we were. This is Bend and Redmond, under a month of inventory. Imagine the leverage that sellers had back then that they no longer have. There are deals waiting to be had for anybody that's willing to hop into the market looking to make a purchase right now. And that could last for the next 2 to 3 months. It could last for the next 3 to 6 months, or it could stop at some point as soon as the market does shift back into the middle for the sake of favoring sellers as well. If inventory starts to come down, well, you can bet that it's going to be a little bit trickier to go find a deal first of all, but sellers are going to be more prone to want to sell, so there could be other options if you're waiting. But again, it's pretty interesting to see what's going on right now in this state of the market. We haven't had this type of energy or this type of feeling in the market for some time. So, very interesting things going on right now. Let's take a look here. This is going to be the price per square foot, 293. I think Bend was at about $100 more. We'll continue on and look at some of the smaller markets here in Central Oregon to provide more perspective. Sisters, again, now these 4 areas or 5 areas that we cover as well, they're going to have significantly less transactions. So the median price is going to fluctuate quite a bit. So this was 12 number of sales in Sisters was 12 last month, 28 days on market. We had 9 in Sun River. We had 13 in Lapine, 17 in Jefferson County, which is the Madras area. And then we'll scroll down there. Looks like 25 for Crook County and Prineville. But the price point, 702 in Sisters. Okay, that has wide ranging swings. It can be $1 million one month, it can be 650 the next month because of the volume of sales is so low. There's houses out in Sisters that are listed for 10 million or more. What happens if that thing sells? What's that going to do for the median price for that month? It's going to be $2 million. So yeah, just it's all important. It's important to have perspective as to what it really means, especially in smaller markets. Bend and Redmond have a little bit more consistent activity, so they have a little bit more of a stable set of numbers when it comes to analyzing data. But let's look at Sun River here, 790, 9 sales. Days on market's 105. Man, that's a long time. 28 days on market for Sisters. Lapine, 78 days, 410 for a median priced home. For a median price of a single family home. And then we have number of sales was 13. Jefferson County, 345. That's the Madras area. Let's take a look at Crook County because Crook County is a very popular area with Prineville and what's going on over there right now. So 395, 25 sales. Okay. These towns, Madras and Prineville, they're comparable in size, about 10 to 12,000 people, but 25 sales in Prineville in Crook County. That's interesting. And that's been kind of the theme the last few months too. It's always a little bit more than the competing areas of the smaller markets. Days on market's 22, inventory's 4 months. So you look at this inventory, let's take a look at this too. So you have like Lapine. If you're curious about Lapine, you have 8 months of inventory right now. That's a large number. What kind of bargaining chip is that for you as a buyer? So that's something to keep in mind. We've got some people that are calling us asking about Lapine. This could literally be one of those moments where it's like, okay, you have You have the chips, you're holding them right now. I did show a client some homes out in the Pine recently, and we called up some of these homes that have been sitting for a while. And it was a very celebrated event by the seller side to have another showing because they've been sitting there for a while. There's a lot of competition out there for just a few sales a month. 13 a month. So it's a big deal when a home like that sells, especially a higher priced home out in La Pine. Hopefully, all this stuff kind of provides some context as to where we're at. I feel like the market may be starting to shift a little bit. We'll see. Obviously, data helps us understand what's going on. But if you're in the market right now, if you need to sell, that's great. We can take a look at the best approach for listing your home and getting the maximum amount of return for you upon a sale. But we can also what we can do is if you're a buyer, we can really put together a plan to try and save you as much as you possibly can save right now. Because too many people, when they're considering buying a home, it's what do they see? They see interest rate, they see monthly payment. Well, what happens if your monthly payment is just a little bit higher than what it could be in 6 to 12 months if you refied, but you were able to secure that home, the home that you wanted in the first place, um, at a slight discount. Maybe you can get that home under its current ask by 20 or 30,000. Who knows? Okay. We just have to go out and explore it. That same home, if the market does officially shift and rates come down, well, there's going to be a higher demand for that same home. It might drive the home up in terms of its current price. So that could be a 50 or $60,000 swing. All things to be considering when being on the fence of entering the market. So, if you guys are ready to have a conversation with that, Zach or myself, please reach out to us. We just want to provide as much context as we possibly can to help you make the right decision the first time when it comes to whether you're selling it or whether you're buying it. It doesn't matter to us. We just want to be at your beck and call. We want to be at your service and earn your business over the course of time. So, thank you for watching this video. My name is Ryan. I'm a licensed broker with eXp Realty. If you need to reach out to us, you can call us, you can text us, you can email us, or you can set up a Zoom. Those are the four channels in which you reach out. It starts with you guys, but we'd love to get a conversation going to help you out in any way we can. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.